Hello and welcome to the American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference pre-conference broadcast series on One Concept Radio. I'm Felicia Brown, and I'll be your host for this interview and series. This is one of several broadcasts with the presenters and experts who are appearing in San Diego, California, April 20th through 22nd, 2012, and who are brought to you by One Concept. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the 2012 American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference sponsors, Massage Warehouse Scripts, MPA Media, H.J. Ross, ABMP, and Massage Envy Careers for making this year's event possible. Our special guest today is Dr. Michael Gaeta. Michael and I will be talking about his class, Growing the Circle, integrating whole food supplements and Western botanicals in the Chinese medical clinic. But first, let me tell you a little about Michael. Dr. Michael Gaeta is a visionary educator, clinician, and writer in the field of natural health care. His teaching is informed by 22 years of successful clinical practice. He has appeared on the CBS Early Show and NBC News and presents seminars nationally on nutrition, herbal therapy, business success, medical ethics, and Chinese medicine. He has trained thousands of clinicians in his success with natural medicine clinical seminars since January 2001 and his Love, Serve, and Succeed business seminars since 1996. His passion and commitment is to improve patient care and practice success in the natural healing arts professions. Michael, welcome to the American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference pre-conference broadcast series. I really appreciate you making time to talk with me about the event and your class, Growing the Circle, integrating whole food supplements and Western botanicals in the Chinese medical clinic.
Well, thanks so much, Felicia. It's wonderful to be here and participating in this fine conference.
Well, we're certainly thrilled to have you with us. And before we get into your topic, I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about why uniting the three disciplines of massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture is valuable in general and at a conference like this.
Well, I'm so glad that they are being integrated into a conference like this, into one venue, because frequently these professions meet separately. But to have them together at one time is very exciting, and I think it's really ideal because the three professions are so complementary. There's just a beautiful synergy between the three. They address different aspects of the human body and physiology and energy systems, and they're really just a perfect synergy. And as a dual licensed acupuncturist and massage therapist, and actually third license in nutrition, it's great to be together. This doesn't happen really hardly at all, where professions get to mingle together and connect with each other. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Likewise, I do think it's exciting. Having been, though I'm not triple licensed like you are, I'm definitely I've been a big believer in acupuncture for a long time. That was what drew me to massage, actually, was being an acupuncture client. And then chiropractic certainly been a part of my own healing process. And then I'm a practicing massage therapist still. So I love I love seeing those come together. And it's so interesting to hear from you that you're a massage therapist and an acupuncturist, as well as involved in the nutrition.
Right.
So now there are a lot of things going on at this conference, Michael. Your class is certainly going to be an in-demand event. But what besides that class are you most looking forward to doing or being a part of at this year's event?
Well, yeah, this is really a wonderful opportunity for me to connect with colleagues in the acupuncture and massage therapy professions. Most of my speaking nationally is to chiropractors, and so I'm very comfortable connecting with that profession as well. And really, my aim is pretty clear to improve patient care through natural medicine and diet and lifestyle counseling. And to improve the level of success in the natural healing arts practices.
Well, I think it is going to be a great opportunity to connect. One of my favorite things at these conferences is just the opportunity to dialogue and have conversations with people from all kinds of backgrounds, and
That's right.
To expand my own healing and understanding as well. It's just a fantastic opportunity, and we like to say it's going to be a lot of fun too. So we're glad you're going to be a part.
Yeah, me too.
So now I'm curious. I mentioned that acupuncture was what brought me into massage therapy. What drew you into the world of natural healing?
Well, for me, I started as a massage therapist, and that drew me into acupuncture and nutrition. And so really I had an early desire to be involved in the healing, do something in the healing arts professions. And my first career is in music. I'm a pianist. And so I played professionally for 10 years, overlapping with the early years of my massage therapy and nutrition practice. And so it was important for me to find a healing profession. It was important for me to use my hands. And it was important to practice some type of healing art that emphasized personal growth and development as well. So it's primarily a service aspect to it for me, but it's also important to use my hands and find some way to help people. I was a psychology major initially, and that was going to be my avenue of helping people, but I'm glad I found more of a hands-on approach through body work and acupuncture.
Well, I'm curious for you to expand just a little bit on what you were talking about in terms of being involved in a healing art that allowed for personal growth and development. Can you explain what you mean by that? Because I know that we do have a lot of students that listen in on these calls, and perhaps that's not an aspect that they had considered for choosing this career path.
Well, yeah, it's a great question, Felicia. And my basic message, and I've been teaching now for 19 years, my basic message is that the more deeply a practitioner goes in their own personal growth and transformation, then that is the primary means of helping others change and heal and grow and transform themselves. So Gandhi said, "We must be the change we wish to see in the world." And I modify that slightly to say we must be the change we wish to see in our patients. So my basic message is for my colleagues in the healing arts is to take our own growth more seriously and more deeply, because it's through our presence that we inspire positive creative change. And you can only take someone as far as you've gone yourself. So if you want to do deep work, you have to be deep. And so that puts the requirement on the practitioner to continue refining their own character and continue growing themselves.
So then I guess, and this is a little bit off the topic of what we had planned to discuss, but this is really fascinating, and I think it kind of sets a foundation for what you're teaching and practicing.
Right.
What you're saying is that you're not prescribing things to your patients or suggesting things to your patients per se that you're not willing to do yourself, and that you're embodying what it is that you're sharing with them.
Exactly. That's really well put, Felicia. I mean, the way I was trained, and back when I started school in 1989, the way I was trained was that the motto of the holistic practitioner is "do as I do," which is a little different than modern medicine is often "do as I say," not as I do. But the holistic model is always based on embodied example. And so the rule was you couldn't recommend something to a patient that you hadn't done yourself. And obviously there's exceptions to that, but that's the primary motto, I think, of the holistic practitioner, is to lead by example.
Well, I like that idea of not recommending something that you haven't done yourself. I just recently brought some new pillows into my practice, and before I would sell them to anyone. Oh, pardon me. My cat is suddenly very unhappy. She wants to be on the interview too, evidently. But just being able to try those out before I recommended them, I felt was very important. And so, especially when you're talking about the idea of nutrition and supplementation, I think that I don't want to suggest something to someone that I'm not willing to put into my own body.
Yep. That's great. That's such a great. I think you really can't go wrong if you stick with that mindset, because then it keeps the responsibility on the practitioner to walk the talk, to embody the change they're wishing to see in their clients, their patients, and it really keeps the practitioner growing and not to get stagnant.
Well, I really enjoy hearing about this from you, and I have to be honest, as an interviewer, I thought, gosh, I don't know anything about Chinese herbs other than I've taken a few here and there, but I thought, how am I going to have this conversation with Dr. Gaeta today, because I don't know that much about it. But understanding this foundation, I think, helps me to see your philosophy, and hopefully everyone listening is getting that understanding too. I think sometimes when you know the mindset of an educator, it makes what they're teaching so much more valuable and interesting. So I really appreciate you taking the time to just explore that with me a little bit and help me to have that foundation of understanding of who you are, as well as everybody listening, before we jumped into talking about herbs. Because it's really where people are coming to see you, and that's I'm like, I hope I can make it into that classroom. This is exciting.
Well, good. It is for me too.
So now you're presenting on the topic of whole food nutrition and Western herbs. Why is it important for an acupuncturist or a Chinese herbalist to incorporate whole food nutrition and Western herbs into their clinic?
Well, yeah, it's the perfect marriage. And the other seminar I'm speaking about is called the Ultimate Thyroid Seminar. Is the second seminar I'll be presenting at the conference. And related to your question, it's so important in acupuncture school for most of us, and the acupuncture schools have graduated 49,000 graduates since the beginning in the 70s. And most of us in school don't get a lot of nutrition training in terms of how to do dietary counseling in some degree of practical depth. And so that's one piece, is that nutrition is really one of the pillars of Chinese medicine. And often, I would say not always fully fleshed out in a curriculum which emphasizes acupuncture treatment. So Western nutrition actually this dietary approach, the traditional diet approach, is very congruent with Chinese medicine. And Western herbs are a perfect complement to Chinese medicine and Chinese herbal and acupuncture practice, because there are herbs in the Western pharmacopoeia, the Western medicine, Western herbal medicine, materia medica, which don't exist in Chinese medicine. Herbs like echinacea. There is no echinacea in Chinese medicine, and it's such an important herb, kind of the most important herb for preventative immune support. And so there's a whole range of tools that are very easy to incorporate for a Chinese medicine practitioner into their practice. And in terms of supplementation, there's really only one style of supplementation which is congruent and consistent with Chinese medicine, and that is whole food supplementation. The vast majority of supplements that people take today are synthetic isolated chemicals made by drug companies out of coal tar, petroleum, or genetically modified corn syrup. So that's not really consistent with Chinese medicine practice or theory, which is all about holism and leaving what nature made intact. And so the one approach to nutritional supplementation which works beautifully with Chinese medicine is a whole food approach to supplementation. So when you put that together, you have your acupuncture, you have your Chinese herbs, you have your Western herbs, and you have your whole food supplements and dietary advice. I mean, that's an incredibly powerful combination that really increases clinical results, improves patient care, and when that improves, you get more referrals, so your practice grows. I mean, it's a wonderful approach for an acupuncturist to take, and there are hundreds of acupuncturists nationally who I've trained and others have trained who have adopted this approach and are seeing so much better results than they did before.
Wow, well, that's a lot of information, and I had never really thought about the difference between traditional Chinese medical herbs and Western herbs, and there being certain things that weren't available through Chinese herbs. I just thought, this is going to have everything. The Chinese have been doing this forever. Yeah. Of course, they know it all.
Sure. And there's certain stuff that just doesn't grow there.
Right.
Echinacea is a Native American herb, for instance. It doesn't grow in China. I mean, you can plant it and grow it, but traditionally it doesn't exist in China.
Well, that's fascinating. That's fascinating to know. I feel good knowing that maybe I'm doing some good things with the natural herbs that I take, and that it's
For
not
sure.
in conflict with traditional Chinese medicine.
Right, which is, it's a good point. It's a common belief that, I do Chinese herbs, I can't do Western herbs. And that's just not true. They work beautifully together. And, Echinacea is really a Native American herb. That's how we learned about it. Even if it does grow in China, it really didn't make it into the pharmacopoeia. And so the clinical practice and application of Echinacea, which is one of the primary herbs we're going to talk about, is really been developed in the Western herbal tradition.
Excellent. Well, yes, I'm glad to know that. So now, how does supplementation fit into the equation?
It's essential. Diet is a cornerstone of Chinese medicine practice, and I think any holistic practice, whether it's chiropractic, naturopathy, holistic medicine, holistic body work, whatever it is, diet is really critical for any regardless of whatever the practitioner is doing. Diet is really important if you want the patient to get better over the long haul and not just temporarily. You've got to address what they're eating. And so supplementation, again, is very critical to the equation. Most Americans do take supplements, but those supplements are generally synthetic. And so we want to make sure that the supplements we are recommending are food supplements, because whole food, is the only thing the human body is designed to use as nutrition. So since the body is only designed to use food as nutrition, everything else, supplement-wise, is really more of a drug. As I said, a single isolated chemical that will mandate physiological changes without really feeding the body and restoring function through food, which again is the only source of nutrition. So I'm very, very clear about this, Felicia, that an acupuncture practice that doesn't include whole food supplementation is really missing out on a whole range of benefit to the patient. In terms of quality of results, speed of results, it's just it's so effective if it's done well. And most of the time, supplementation is not done well in this country because it's dominated by pharmaceutical, reductionist, nutraceutical, isolated chemical approach to supplementation, which is really reductionism, not holism in action.
I wonder if you could give just a small example of what a whole food supplementation might be. So let's say if I'm,
Sure.
I don't know, taking a particular vitamin, let's say vitamin C.
Yeah.
How might you
Sure.
replace that in my diet with whole food supplementation?
Well, that's so important. The FDA claims that ascorbic acid is vitamin C, and that's the only thing that vitamin C is ascorbic acid. That's simply not true. Ascorbic acid is merely the antioxidant portion of the vitamin C complex, which includes dozens of nutrients that work together: trace minerals, enzymes, amino acids, other vitamins that work in concert. There is no such thing as an isolated chemical vitamin in nature. They're always as a team. It's like a symphony orchestra with the strings and the woodwinds and the brass and the percussion. It has a whole range of synergistic factors which only exist in food. Once you pull that apart and pick that apart, it's just not going to work. So we can use vitamin E as an example. In reductionism, vitamin E is alpha tocopherol, or mixed tocopherols even, is a little slightly better, but still a drug, or a drug-like effect. That's not really vitamin E. It's just the antioxidant portion of the E complex, which contains dozens of nutrients, which are not found in synthetic vitamins. Say a vitamin E pill, 400 units, 800 units, that's just a fractionated or synthetic alpha tocopherol. In nature, the entire vitamin E complex is found in wheat germ oil, for instance, or pea vine juice, for instance, or whole natural sources of fats like grass-fed beef, organic eggs, olive oil. These are fat sources that, and the best in the world is wheat germ oil, of the whole vitamin E complex, not just an isolated synthetic chemical portion of the E complex. You've got the whole team in the natural form.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can see I'm going to be doing some research on this topic for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
And what I've found, I in my own practice, I tend to use, again, a whole food approach to supplementation that really gives you the best results, and it's also the most natural and certainly the most consistent with Chinese medicine.
Wonderful. Now, Michael, what are some of the conditions that are likely to be helped or improved by this improved nutrition and supplementation you're talking about?
Well, I mean, the short answer is everything, because, the food, I hate to be glib, but food is therapeutic. And that's something that's denied in the conventional medical establishment, that food actually is therapeutic, but it is. And when you concentrate foods to therapeutic potency in a whole food supplement, the results are that much faster, because you're keeping the whole food, live food, living raw food complex intact. And that's really a key thing. So I'm going to be doing a second seminar on the thyroid. So thyroid's a great example of where nutrition improves thyroid function. But really, it would be hard to find a condition that proper nutrition and proper supplementation wouldn't improve, simply because it's so foundational to life. It's like saying, well, what conditions could breathing improve? Well, if you don't breathe, you're dead. So it's kind of a global thing, But what I would say is, in all seriousness, that we have this saying in Chinese medicine, Felicia, that the inferior physician treats disease, and the superior physician prevents disease and promotes growth. And so my aim in practice with patients, as well as in educating my colleagues, is to encourage an approach that uses nutrition and whole food supplementation and herbal medicine and lifestyle and diet to prevent. It's much easier and cheaper to prevent illness rather than treat illness. And then, sure, most people come in, as my British mentor used to say, looking like the dog's breakfast, and they come in pretty rough shape, and we do have to get them back to a state of balance and well-being and resilience and vitality. But that's our secondary job, is that fix-up job. Our primary job is to encourage personal responsibility and healthy lifestyle choices that then prevent all these unnecessary lifestyle diseases that Americans are riddled with: the heart disease, the cancer, the diabetes, the obesity. All of these are unnecessary conditions that are rooted in the lifestyle. So nutrition is both restorative to a person who's sick, and more significantly in my book, preventative for a person who's well.
Excellently put. I really have a very vivid picture of how this is working, and it's sparking all kinds of ideas for me personally. I don't envision this becoming part of my massage therapy practice at this point in time, but I'm really seeing some ideas into how I can put this into practice in my own health, and then maybe gradually I'm making some gentle suggestions. We in the massage therapy world have to be careful about not overstepping boundaries, of course, but
well, sure.
I think that, I'm getting some great ideas just for my own well-being as a practitioner, and setting that example for my own clientele so that they're seeing the results they could be having, and then perhaps giving a suggestion that they pursue this type of treatment with an acupuncturist who's working with this whole food approach.
Yes. So, I think that's wise. Yeah.
So now, in regards to your actual class on this topic at the American Acupuncture Conference, what are your participants going to be learning in that class? Well,
yeah, the first thing we're going to go into is the difference between holism and reductionism, and getting really clear about that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and that we leave the whole food intact nutritionally, comparing that to reductionism, which is single isolated chemicals, which are pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals, which act more like drugs in the body. And so, that's step one. Step two is we'll look at the foundations of the whole foods diet based in traditions from all over the world, which share common elements of what a whole foods health supporting diet looks like. And then we'll go into the specifics of whole food supplementation, how that works in practice, how to implement that very simply and practically. And then we're going to look at Western herbs and how that can be incorporated, and wonderful herbs that don't exist in Chinese medicine, like echinacea, that can be easily incorporated into one's practice, regardless of what specialty you have, to improve patient care and clinical results.
Sounds like it's going to be a great class.
It is.
There are some people that are probably listening, myself included, who are thinking now, oh, wow, how do I even choose supplements now? Are there supplements I should be taking, or how do I go about implementing this practice in my daily life or in my practice?
Oh, great question, Felicia. Yeah, I've been practicing 22 years. I've worked with dozens of companies, and I've really, based on my experience and the philosophy, I use almost exclusively standard process whole food supplements and MediHerb Western herbs for my Western herbs, and then I use Quali Herb for my Chinese herbs. And that's really that triad of using the standard process and MediHerb, on the nutrition and Western herbal side is really quite profound. And they also provide really good clinical and practitioner support as well through online and live trainings. Are really quite excellent. And really this approach, using the standard process whole food supplements, is perfectly consistent with Chinese medicine. And it's really the only approach that's consistent with Chinese medicine, because the ingredients are the same as that in Chinese medicine, which is vegetable, animal, and mineral. Those are the same. That's what makes up Chinese medicine. That's what makes up the standard process whole food supplements. And that's why I have found in 22 years of practice they work more effectively, more naturally, more safely, with fewer adverse effects, in a way that's consistent with Chinese medicine than anything else that I've seen.
One thing you just said that I'm kind of curious about, because I know this question is going to come up. There are a lot of people out there that are vegetarians. So when you talk about having something that's vegetable, animal, mineral, how do you work that kind of supplementation with someone who says, I don't want to have any animal products?
Sure. Well, yeah, that's a personal choice, and I was a vegetarian myself for a year, so I understand that perspective. And there's a couple of things to keep in mind. So the first bit is that the human body is designed as an omnivore. Everything from our anatomy, physiology, history, tradition, everything points to this basic fact. It's just anatomy and physiology. It's not really opinion, that we're built to be omnivores. So if a person is not willing to eat a balanced, like a human diet, which would be an omnivore diet of whole foods, then at least if they can get some of the animal foods in their supplements, that really rounds out the missing pieces that are found in the vegetarian diet. So that's my first suggestion. Well, my first suggestion is to eat a human diet. Second suggestion is if you're not willing to do that, then eat supplements which are based on the human diet, which is an omnivore diet. And then my final fallback, which is not ideal, is that there are dozens of standard process whole food supplements and the entire MediHerb line of herbs that are vegetarian. And again, that's not the most powerful products, but those are certainly phenomenal, excellent, wonderful, amazing, incredible formulas that are vegetarian. Again, it's not a complete approach. It's not a kind of a human diet approach, but it is. It certainly will help. And so my approach is to make a clear suggestion, let the patient decide, and I'll support whatever decision they make.
Well, thank you for clarifying that, and that really gives a new perspective to the need for having that animal product in the supplementation. I just hadn't really thought about it from the omnivore standpoint.
Well,
That's something that we need.
It is. I mean, we've got incisors for, those are not for rending tofu. We make pepsin, which is designed to digest collagen, which is only found in animal foods. We have an intestinal tract, which is the perfect length of an omnivore, not an herbivore or vegetarian or carnivore. So, it's just anatomy and physiology. It's not opinion. We're built to be omnivores. And so a person can get away with a vegetarian diet for a certain amount of time, but then over time they will gradually get weaker. And that's just what I've seen in treating thousands of patients over 22 years. I found, a couple of healthy vegetarians, but for the most part they tend to be on the weaker side. And, and they just improve. They feel better once they eat a human diet or include some of the omnivore supplements, in their their supplement pattern. So, again, I just make suggestions. People make their own decisions. I'll support whatever decision they make, but they're coming to me for my expertise and experience, and so I always like to make a clear recommendation.
Well, I would definitely take it after speaking with you today.
Yeah.
Do you have any other recommendations or suggestions for people who maybe they won't be able to make it to your class, but they are interested in moving forward in working with whole foods and other supplementation in acupuncture healing practice?
Yeah, for sure. I would certainly go to standardprocess.com. It's a great resource. Once a practitioner sets up an account, they have access to the whole practitioner reference library. I've created 25 clinical training seminars and 7 business training seminars that are all available on my website. So those are all available for home learning through GaetaCommunications.com. That's GAETA communications.com. And that is lots of free information there, articles, blog, other resources, my schedule, my complete radio show archive is there, all for free. And then I also have very high-level practitioner, clinical, and business training resources there, which I've developed over the past 19 years of teaching, that are really superb in terms of for practitioners specifically who do want to improve their patient care, who do want to improve their practice success, who do want to become very skilled in the clinical application of standard process and MediHerb in their practice.
Well, I know that people are going to want to check that out. I'm very intrigued by our conversation, and will definitely utilize that as a resource when I have time to learn more about it. I so appreciate just the insightful comments that you shared, and the new, I guess for me, it's a new perspective on nutrition and what food really means, what it's really there for and how it can affect the health in such a large way. So I just thank you for sharing all of that and giving me a good reminder on that. I know that
thank
a lot
you,
of
Felicia.
It's totally my pleasure. I know that a lot of people are going to want to sign up for your course at the conference.
Yep.
So I want to just pause for a moment and take time to let everybody know exactly how they can get involved, register for your class, and be a part of this exciting event. The American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference is one of the largest exhibitions of massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture products, continuing education, and business opportunities for practitioners of all 3 disciplines. This year's conference will feature over 100 exhibitors, continuing education classes of 1 hour, 3 hour, and 1-day workshops, including Michael's. Other events during the weekend will include a free keynote presentation sponsored by ABMP with Dean Juhan, the author of Job's Body, a charity golf tournament benefiting the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the One Concept Gala and Dinner Dance. Now, the registration cost for the conference is just $40, which includes admission to the trade halls and all 1-hour presentations, participation in raffles and giveaways of literally thousands of dollars in prizes, between class coffee breaks, and loaded goodie bags. Attendees will also have access to many special offers and promotions from the conference exhibitors, as well as the chance to have a fantastic time with friends and colleagues. For students, the conference offers a free student day and Smart from the Start program. That's on Friday and is sponsored by Massage Warehouse Script and Performance Health. This day is dedicated to massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture students who are currently enrolled in school or who will graduate in 2012 and includes a free gift bag for the first 350 people. Also on Friday, all attendees are invited to attend a special presentation, Disciplines Unite, from 12 until 2, and the One Concept Job Fair from 2 until 4. All of this is happening at the Conference Hotel. That's the Town and Country Resort and Conference Center, and I definitely suggest you make plans to stay there if at all possible. Single or double rates are just $125 a night, but space is limited, so please make your reservations now. Also, MPA Media is printing the American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference event program inside all 3 of their magazines, Massage Today, Acupuncture Today, and Dynamic Chiropractic. These will be given out at the conference and distributed throughout the U.S. to over 133,000 practitioners. So if you are a vendor or educator who's listening in today and you'd like to get some great exposure for your class or product, please contact MPA Media for details on being a part of the conference program. Now, if you're ready to register for the 2012 American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference in San Diego, and of course to meet Michael, myself, and the other amazing instructors, there are now 2 ways to do so. First, register online and pick your courses instantly on the official conference websites. Those are AmericanMassageConference.com, AmericanAcupunctureConference.com, or AmericanChiropracticConference.com, depending on your discipline. You may also register by phone. The call is free and operators are waiting to speak with you at 877-674-3504. That's 877-674-3504. We also invite you to stay connected with us on Facebook at facebook.com/American Massage Conference, /American Chiropractic Conference, and /American Acupuncture Conference. Again, the 2012 American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference is made possible by all of our wonderful sponsors. Thank you so much to Massage Warehouse Script, MPA Media, H.J. Ross, ABMP, and Massage Envy Careers. I'm sure after today's broadcast, everyone listening is ready to come to the conference and register for this intriguing and exciting class, Growing the Circle, Integrating Whole Food Supplements and Western Botanicals in the Chinese Medical Clinic with Michael Gaeta. Michael, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and for choosing to be a part of the 2012 American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference. We're so excited to have you as a speaker this year, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you in April.
Thanks so much, Felicia. I look forward to the event and meeting you too, and thanks for all the fine work that you do.
Well, thank you very much. Everybody, this is Felicia Brown, and on behalf of everyone from the American Massage, Chiropractic, and Acupuncture Conference and One Concept Radio, I want to thank you for tuning into this edition of the pre-conference broadcast series. Please remember to tune in each week through April 16th for more interviews and to visit our websites and Facebook pages for replays of all the interviews in this series. We look forward to seeing you in San Diego in April. Please also consider joining us for the Canadian Massage and Chiropractic Conference this fall in beautiful Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, October 12th through 14th. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a fabulous day.